Welcome back to the Nightlife podcast again from the Wynwood in Miami. I want to thank, by the way, the people from the 5th in Miami, Wynwood, where we are today, where you see that nice bar sign in the back. I want to be showing you different pieces of this venue, by the way, in the near future. So hope you come by very soon. Today we are going to talk about something that also a lot of people ask about, and is where to begin, where to get started. And I'm going to be answering questions from a new listener, actually from Houston, Texas. His name is Jacob Smith, and Jacob wants to get in the industry. He actually comes from the real estate industry as a real estate investor, and wants to get into this side of the business. So where to begin? So Jacob sent me an email and asked me a few questions. The first part that he talked about was he's been offered an opportunity to get into the business. The opportunity that he's receiving is coming directly from a club owner to work at a club. Okay, so the first thing he tells me is this is the best club in the city. So let me analyze that right away. Saying that a place is the best club in the city, Jacob, actually is a perception kind of thing. So what might be the best club for you might not be the best club for somebody else. And I understand that sometimes clubs are put in those kinds of ranks by maybe magazines or websites, etc. But in the end, that's all business. So some might be measured by what they sell, some by the they might be good for some, but not for everybody else. So with that said, what you gotta look at is if the club is good for you and your niche specifically, not just if you enjoy it yourself, but if the people that you're gonna cater to are gonna enjoy going to this venue, and it's gonna be easier for you to promote to them. So to the next point, you're gonna be working directly with the owner. The offer comes directly with the owner, and you have two ways to get into this business. One is directly with the owner, which is good, but it's usually a short-term kind of relationship. The reason is club owners are basically looking to have feelers, and I think you mentioned that the club owner had some kind of goal for you, which I'll go into later. But there's a reason for that. He probably has other people like you that he puts, and makes sure that he can pack the place with having somebody bring a certain amount of people for here, for there, someone who brings the girls, all that kind of stuff. But in the end, you want a long-term kind of business. You want to start with a main promoter. It's what I recommend. I think it's the best option. So it's if you want to work at this venue, it's better if you look for the main promoter. All right. So the club owner gave you a goal. The goal that he gave you was bring 25 people, and it'll be a success if you bring 25 people to the club. You say that you want to do this 2 to 3 times a week, and you say that you want to sell between 3 and 10 bottles per weekend. All of these things are doable, and I mean, I was not meaning to plug this in there and the course and all that, but I am actually planning on a webinar that specifies on this kind of target, and actually the target is 30 people per party, and that's how you can start developing this new endeavor and creating something new that you start as a sub promoter and grow into becoming your own main promoter and building the business, etc. So the webinar will be coming out soon, in the probably next couple of weeks, so watch out for that. Having 25 people, 2 to 3 times a week, 3 to 10 bottles, doable. It's all doable, but you got to be doing everything that needs to be done. You got to make sure that you're following all the steps. You say the club is known for its parties during the summer, the pool parties. So it's good that you start now and you start building, so that the moment that the club is crazy and happening, you've already set your clientele, and it's going to be a lot easier as you build. All right. So another thing you mentioned in your message was that you want to concentrate on online strategies, and that is doable. Getting these numbers through online strategies. By that I mean using social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all those things, texting, emailing, you name it. There's a lot of ways. But offline promotion is key. It is the most important part. That feel, that touch, being able to tell somebody in their face, hey, I want to see you, and put a hand on the shoulder and say, I want to see you this weekend. If you meet a girl, you want to invite her over to the club, you give her a drink, make sure you hand it out. You just don't give a ticket and send her to the bar, that kind of thing. It's always, that personal touch is always going to be the best way to promote to somebody. So have that in mind, and don't keep that out of the equation. All right, so you mentioned later that you have another possibility, which is starting smaller and not going as big as this great club, and it's starting like in the suburbs of Houston. You say it's like a 30-minute drive to go to the club, the big club, CLE, by the way, you mentioned in Houston. And where you're at, there's other opportunities of smaller things to do, maybe building like a dinner party, that kind of thing. That is actually a great idea. Because it is better, the way I see it, to start with a smaller club that is gonna appreciate more what you're doing than a huge club. Now, the big club is gonna give you a better name, but remember, if you're thinking of building, start small, then grow big. So yeah, a dinner party is a good idea. Now, you have to have one thing into consideration. For example, I'm in Miami. Suburbs here are places like Doral. Doral has a couple of clubs, but people that live in Doral don't like to party in Doral. So maybe on a Wednesday night, Thursday night, they'll go out near their home or whatnot. But when the weekend comes, Friday, Saturday, people want to get away. They want to go where it's happening, where everybody else is, where it's hot. So have that in mind when you make the decision, okay? All right, now you talk about spending some time with other promoters, hosts, main promoters at another party to learn a little about what they do. That is good because, yes, you're going to be learning, but just watch out. Make sure that you're not trying to take anything away from them, because this is a business where promoters are overprotective of their clientele and that kind of thing. So what I do recommend is that those guys that you know that work at a different club, you should ask them about working for them at the beginning. Start there. Start small. Work for them at that other club on the Thursday nights that you mentioned in your message. Start, building from there. Okay? So let me just straight out go to a quick conclusion of the best way to get started. All right? I've mentioned a couple of times that you got to start slow. Okay? I mean small. You start as a sub promoter. You don't start as a main promoter. You start from the bottom of the food chain. Now, bottom of the food chain in this scenario is not that bad, because you have the same perks as a main promoter, but just a lot less responsibility. Now, the main promoter is going to make more money, and there's an episode that talks about all the deals and the best deals and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to starting, you got to start as a sub promoter. Let the main promoter deal with those issues. They already probably have a longer career and know how to deal with the bigger problems. So start small. Build your own sub promoter team. Okay, don't leave that to the main promoters alone. Build a sub promoter team that, yes, they're gonna work for the main promoter for now, but they're under you. So you're gonna get compensated. You got to make sure you work out that deal, which you can see at another video. But these are your people. Make sure you cater to them. They help you bring more people, and you get also compensated for what they're doing. Okay. Also, you mentioned working 3 nights. That is the best way you can to be able to build up. But you got to start 1 night first, then build on to the second, and then go on to the third night. Okay. Don't start doing 3 nights right away. 1 night first, then another night, and then another night. Start at a small venue, then grow to the big venues. Keep them different. Do not, for any reason, work in the same club 3 nights a week. Then you become an employee, staff member of that club. That's not what you want to do. You want to build a career as a nightlife entrepreneur. So I hope all of this helped you, Jacob, and we'll keep in touch for sure. Guys, remember to follow me at the Nightlife Entrepreneur on Instagram. Remember to get the book, The Nightlife Entrepreneur, on Amazon. Go to the website, nightlifepodcast.com. And I hope you guys keep answering questions because we want to keep answering. See you next week.